As an empath and a survivor of narcissistic abuse, you may be able to step back and step aside from your abusive experiences that you have had with the narcissist and consider the fact that this narcissist is nothing but a creation of chaos. They originated from pain and suffering, and that might trigger a lot of sympathy that you might feel towards them. There is nothing wrong with that, but the problem is the narcissist takes all of that for granted. They weaponize your kindness against you and see it as a permission to keep treating you badly. So the question arises then, what should you do with this empathy, compassion, and kindness that you feel towards the narcissist? How should you properly channel it? Let's find out in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, we are going to explore in depth what to do with the empathy that you feel towards the narcissist and how to use it for your own healing journey. If that sounds interesting and you're eager to learn more with me, please make sure to subscribe before we begin, because as I always say, your subscription to this channel helps spread awareness about narcissistic abuse. If you are an HSP, highly sensitive person, you feel a lot. Your empathy knows no bounds and you feel it even for those who deserve no part of it. And that might make you perceive your empathy as a curse, which it is not. The only problem is sometimes it gets out of balance and some entities take advantage of your feelings and use them against you. One such entity is a narcissist. When you offer your kindness to the narcissist hoping that that would heal them, knowing that they have never received it, knowing that they have suffered a lot, which is why they have turned into the person they are now. And if you show them that empathy, they won't take it in as a gift. Instead, they will turn it into a curse only for you. Because the more you will show them your empathy, the more you'll be considerate and compassionate towards their suffering, the kinder you will be towards them, the harsher, the more abusive, and the more devilish they will be towards you and your life experiences. If you truly want to be kind towards a narcissist, leave them alone on their own. What? Yes, because as long as they keep getting kindness from you, they are being fed properly so, because they need supply and their supply is nothing but other people's emotions. They need distraction to keep their false self intact and alive. And as long as that stays intact, they will never be able to see through their defenses and see within to understand that they are rotten. The best gift that you can ever give a narcissist is your absence. It is in your absence and the absence of other sources of supply there is some chance for a narcissist to collapse. What is a narcissistic collapse? A narcissistic collapse is triggered when all the sources of supply are cut and the narcissist faces failure in all directions. Like, let's say they are fired from a job, they lose all relationships and everything they had to keep themselves distracted. Now the narcissist is with themselves in darkness, forced to think about their doings, forced to think about who they are. That is when they go through some kind of annihilation. Not all of them, a small percentage. And that is when they could become aware of themselves, who they are, how they treat others, and why their life is as miserable as it is because of their actions. You may try to nurture that inner child within a narcissist, but let me tell you something you may not want to hear. There is no inner child to be saved. You may offer that motherly affection and fatherly guidance they never had as a child, but all of that will be wasted because the adult they have become now has gotten used to this way of being. It works for them. Why would they ever sit with themselves, with things they have suppressed for years and go through a rude awakening? They would rather and always choose to be a jerk that they are than look within and take responsibility for their actions. This is what you have to accept. Maybe you can pray for the child in them to wake up, to come back to life from distance, but your presence in their life is not needed at all. I see many survivors of narcissistic abuse feeling guilty for abandoning the narcissist or for leaving them to suffer alone. But the thing is, you can't heal them, as I said. And the effect, the impact is the opposite than what you intend it to be. The more you stay, the harder it becomes for a narcissist to look within. You become an obstacle as much as you do not want to be. You need to release the guilt by understanding that you are doing them a favor by removing yourself from the equation, by leaving them on their own, with the hope that they will somehow realize that they can't be jumping from one person to the other in search of a fix they cannot get from anywhere. Then the question arises, what do I do with this empathy that I feel? Well, you can, if you believe in forgiveness. It's not necessary for you to heal, but if you believe in forgiveness, you can forgive the narcissist. And forgiving does not necessarily mean you are accepting that everything they did was okay. No, forgiving simply means I see what you did and why you did it and how the cycle continued through you, and I forgive you for that. I let you go. Forgiveness is not something you believe in. When you can channel that empathy towards yourself by understanding that you have been empathetic towards everyone who ever came into your life, especially if you have had childhood trauma, you might have learned that you do not matter. And now is the time for you to channel that empathy and be what you have been for others. Be that person who consistently and constantly shows up for yourself, who truly and genuinely puts in all the efforts to take care of that inner girl or inner boy who is still wounded, who is isolated, who feels they are stuck in some kind of darkness. You have to channel that empathy to heal those inner aspects of yours so that you can integrate them and become whole. Unhealed empaths often self-sacrifice a lot, and they're quite critical towards themselves, which shows up in their healing journey as well. So instead of pushing yourself, be compassionate towards your process. Hold space the way you hold it for others. Give yourself time. Give yourself chances the way you give them to others. What I want you to do is, I want you to become the person that you become for others. The way you heal them, heal yourself, because you have those resources. If you won't do it for yourself, then who would? It's your responsibility. I know it's not fair. I know your parent should have been there for you, but now this is your only choice and this is the only option. If you want to properly utilize this healing energy, this empathy, this compassion, give it to yourself first. Also, you can set yourself free by gaining this understanding that the narcissist does not deserve the empathy you have to offer. It is the most precious gift that you have that helps you to step outside of yourself and relate with other people's experiences, which a narcissist cannot do. So there is no reciprocity. You cannot waste all of your energy on a dead person, because a narcissist is essentially emotionally dead. This walking, breathing meat suit that you see is just a person who performs functions like you do but doesn't have a soul. It's just a body. The person in there has already died a long time ago. So on whom will you shower this empathy? All of this might sound quite hopeless in this context, especially when it comes to the narcissist and there being no possibility for them to change. But unfortunately, that is the truth. I wish I had something else to tell you, that you can do this and you can do that, and that might possibly bring them back. But no, I'll be lying to you if I were to tell you any of that. No, that is not true. The only truth is you have to save yourself. They are 24/7 burning in the fire they have lit. Nobody can save them from it, not even themselves, because they are their own biggest enemy. So now is the time for us to bring this episode to an end. And before I do, I have a question for you. Are you an HSP, a highly sensitive person, or an empath? If yes, how have you worked on yourself or on your healing to become a boundaried or a healed empath? Let me know in the comments below and help other survivors do the same or take similar steps like you have so that they can heal as well. With that, let's bring this episode to an end by understanding that your empathy cannot change anything in a narcissist. You can channel it for yourself to heal, to create good boundaries, to be compassionate towards yourself. You can forgive them if you want to, but there is no inner child to be saved. I'll talk with you in the next one. Until then, let the healing begin and continue.